So today we're going to start on all fours. So come into your tabletop position. Try and keep your hands and your wrists stacked underneath your shoulders, knees stacked underneath your hips. And we're going to work through some cat-cows. So dropping the belly down and then rounding through the spine, really pushing away from the ground. And as we do this, so let's start in with a neutral spine. Let's take an inhale. And then let's exhale, drop the belly down. So almost just imagine like you really just release it down, but then take it even further. Even further. So then start to open up your chest. Draw your shoulder blades in towards each other. Take your gaze out in front. Push away from the mat. Try and straighten your arms as much as possible. And just feel it out in this posture for a moment before we move into our cat. Just so you can really feel how the whole body takes part in this movement. It's not just the spine. And then we'll move into our cat. So now you'll start to notice as you shift and round through your spine, your tailbone's going to tuck. Okay. Rounding through the spine. As you do this, keeping your palms flat on the ground, but really pushing away from the mat. Again. Keeping the arms as straight as possible and just rounding through the spine. Imagine now that you're creating loads of space in your back. So your shoulder blades are opening, the skin on your back is stretching. And then come back to neutral. And as you do this, what you'll notice as well is that as you round through the spine, coming into your cat-cow, you're going to have this outer rotation. So your elbow creases will face forward. And don't worry, it doesn't have to be perfect. It should happen quite naturally. And then as you drop down, you might have a slight bend in the elbow and your elbow creases will start to look towards each other. And then the arms rotate out as you push away around through the spine. You can practice this with me as I'm talking. And then they rotate inwards as you drop down into your cow pose. So we're going to do that 5 times through. With your breath, really take it nice and slow. And try and make your inhale and your exhale as long as possible so that you then get more time in the movement, really feeling into the stretch as far as you can go. So let's inhale with our spine in a neutral position and then exhale, start to drop the belly down, open your chest, in a rotation of the arms, and then exhale, notice as they rotate outwards, elbow creases facing forward, neck drops, push away from the ground. Inhale, drop your belly down, notice the inner rotation of the arms as you do that, and then exhale, round through the spine, push away from the mat, release your neck once you get to the top of the stretch, and then inhale, drop your belly down, open up your chest, draw your shoulder blades in towards each other as much as possible, and then exhale, round through the spine, tuck your tailbone under, push away from the mat, elbow creases facing forward, head relaxed. Twice more, inhale, drop your belly. And exhale, round through your spine. Last time, inhale, drop the spine. All the belly, don't drop your spine. I'm not sure what that would look like. Very fun, no doubt. And then exhale, round through the spine. then come back to a neutral spine. And just sit back on your heels for a moment to take the pressure off of your wrists. And just circle them a few times. And then we're going to come back forward. But just be aware this is a lot of work on the wrists and the arms. So if at any point you just need to skip one round out, circle your wrists, please do that. Don't ever push your body past what feels good to what doesn't feel good. Alright, so from here, this time we're going to be inhaling. So starting in tabletop, we're going to shift forward. So let's all do this together. Start to shift. Again, that outward rotation. So elbow creases facing forward. Don't come so far that it's causing you pain. You're getting a nice stretch in the wrist. And then as we exhale, you're going to shift back. Tuck the toes under. And then push up. So lifting your knees. Really engage your core. Pushing into the mat at the same time. You're going to lift your knees as if you're coming up into a down dog, but you're not going to come into your full down dog. And you're not going to straighten your legs. So keeping your knees bent. And then just really pushing back so that you can create loads of space in your back. Nice. You'll inhale here at the top. And then exhale. Really using your core. Slowly drop your knees back down to the mat. And we're going to do that 5 times through as well. Okay? So take a moment off the wrists if you need to. And then let's take a breath all together. And then on our next inhale, we'll shift forward. So inhale, shifting forward, outward rotation of the arms. Exhale, tucking the toes under, using your core to lift your knees. Keeping a bend in both knees. Heels are lifted from the mat. You're on the balls of your feet. And then just really creating as much space in your back as possible. So straight arms if you can. Inhale here. Exhale, slowly drop the knees back down to the mat. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, same thing again. Knees lift. Continue the movement back. Keep a bend in your knees. Inhale here, feel the length through the arms, down the back. And then exhale, drop the knees down. Inhale, shifting forward. Exhale, shift back, lift the knees. Really feel your core as it engages. Inhale. And exhale. Twice more through. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale. Use your core to lift your knees. Keeping a bend. And then shifting the weight back, but staying on the balls of your toes. Inhale here. Exhale. Drop the knees back down. Last time. Inhale. And then exhale. Engage your core. This time, if it feels comfortable, otherwise you can just take your inhale and lower your knees back down. You're going to straighten your legs. So you're still on the balls of your toes. Then now you're just straightening your legs instead. And then on your next exhale, just see if you can lower your heels slightly closer towards the mat. So coming into your down dog. It's okay if your heels are still hovering, mine are. And then inhale again, rise up onto the balls of your feet. Exhale, lower your knees down. And then we'll come to sit on our heels again. And again, just take any wrist circles that feel good. Any wrist stretches, I should say, including wrist circles, if that feels good. Maybe You want to click. You need a little click in your spine. A gentle one. Alright. From here, you're going to widen your knees a little bit. So they're now touching the outside of your mat. If you have a mat. Otherwise, just estimate it. And we're going to move into our child's pose. So gently walking your fingertips out in front, staying on your fingertips. Bringing them as far as you can reach so that you're already feeling a stretch along the arms and in the shoulder blades. You're going to inhale here, looking forward, gaze past your fingertips. And then exhale, keeping the length. Just drop your forehead down to the mat and exhale. Take 2 more breaths like that. One more breath. Then from here, put your palm flat and just walk the left hand slightly out towards the left diagonal. And then place the right hand on top. Again, breathe in here. And then exhale, start to really sit back into your hips and just lower your forehead again to the mat. And really feel that stretch along the right side and the left side of the body. Take one more inhale here. And then exhale, rise back up and take it over to the other side. So right hand moves first, left hand comes on top. Really reaching away so that we can already feel the opening in our shoulders and our back. Trying to keep our hips straight so they're not shifting as we move over. And then on your next exhale, just lowering the forehead to the mat so that you've got a nice long line all the way down the spine. And along the arms, out through the fingers. And you're not crunching your neck at all in this pose. In this stretch. One more breath. And then gently lifting the gaze back up. Walking the hands back to centre. And then crawling them back. Whew. From here we're going to do a little lion's breath. The breathing is optional always. So, whew. Actually for now let's just stick to the stretch. So what we're going to do, and I'm going to turn slightly so that you can see what I'm doing, is we want to get a nice stretch along our forearm here. So you're going to turn your fingers in towards yourself and then draw the heel of your hand as close towards the mat as possible, and then keep the gaze forward and just feel that stretch along your arm as you do that. You can use the other hand on the mat just to kind of increase the stretch a little bit, or just to help you stay balanced. And then we'll switch to the other hand. Gently moving into the stretch. I moved a little bit quickly there. And just feeling the stretch in the forearm. It's really important to do these stretches that don't always feel like they're doing much, but, well, they do. I think they definitely do, but we sort of take them for granted without realising that we need to be doing them as regularly as we can. Ooh. And then from here, I'll turn on my mat again. So keeping the knees nice and wide, We're going to place our right hand in the middle, and if your knees are hurting, feel free to come up onto your toes if that helps, or just to put something under your knees to support them. So placing your right hand in the centre, just slightly out in front of your knees, and then from here we'll inhale and just start to really straighten that arm as much as possible and start to open up your chest and turn it towards the left. At the same time, your hips are going to shift slightly over towards the left. So just feel into this part of the posture for a moment. Really flat hand, really feeling the stretch all along the arm. And then when we're ready, our chest is already open. We'll reach the left hand up to the ceiling and breathe here. Now feeling that this is actually a full body stretch, even though we're focusing on the arms and the shoulders, the chest. Try to keep the weight equal in both knees. Take one more inhale, maybe gently turn your gaze up towards your top hand. And then exhale, gently replace your right hand with your left. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So starting off just pushing away from the mat, finding that length in your arm and that strength as well. Opening up your chest towards the right side. Starting to feel the shift in your hips as they move over towards the right, and then when you're ready, stretching the right hand up towards the sky, up towards the ceiling, and trying not to collapse into the left arm, but to really reach away with your right fingertips as if they're pulling you up towards the ceiling, and at the same time your left hand is trying to ground you down into the earth. One more breath here again, gently maybe turn the head, take your gaze up towards your top hand, and then exhale, release. Going to come back into a child's pose. So fingertips reach out in front, and then we shift our hips back towards our heels. Inhale here, and then exhale, release your forehead to the mat so that you can then have a straight line all the way through the spine. And as you breathe here for another 2 breaths, notice how when you take a really full inhale and exhale, it makes the stretch deeper, and you might feel it along the sides of your body, more in your back, more in your shoulder blades, and then rising back up. We're going to go into our lion stretch again. This time we're going to do both hands at the same time. So turning the fingers in towards yourself, and drawing the heel down towards the ground as much as possible. And we're going to take 3 lions breaths. So if you just want to do normal inhales and exhales, feel free. If not, we'll inhale, and on our exhale we'll stick the tongue out and take the gaze up towards the ceiling. Whew. And you'll feel a really nice stretch in your face. Really nice like face massage. So let's inhale here. Exhale, tongue out. Inhale again. Exhale, tongue out, gaze towards the sky. Last time, inhale. Exhale, tongue out. Lovely. Gently release from that pose. Place your hands on the mat in front and then tuck your toes under and just gently shift so you're coming into a crouch position. I'm going to hop forward a little bit so I've got more space. From here we're going to be doing a slightly similar thing to what we did at the beginning in cat-cow. We shifted forward and then lifted up. But this time we won't be shifting forward. We're just going to inhale, and on our exhale, staying again on the balls of our feet, starting to lift the hips up, really use your core, and then drawing your heels down to the mat and keeping a bend in your knees, and just coming to this halfway point. Okay, so you're keeping a really deep bend in your knees, as deep as you need personally, depending on how flexible and mobile you are. And then we'll release, come back onto the balls of our feet, inhale here, and then exhale, same thing again. So really engaging your core, shifting your hips, and at the same time drawing your heels down to the mat. And again, just really feeling the stretch. The stretch will be different for everyone because it does depend on your mobility, so I just want you to focus on how it feels for you, and we're going to do that 5 times. Okay, so your focus is lifting your hips, and as soon as you feel your core engage and your hips lift, start to draw your heels to the mat, keeping the bend in your knees, and then again you can drop your head. Enjoy the stretch here, and then we'll come back down to crouch. So inhale 5 times through, exhale, push into the mat, start to lift the hips, draw the heels down to the mat, keep a bend, and then release your head. Inhale, lower down, and exhale. Inhale, exhale, pushing into the mat, really using your core and your thighs as your hips lift, heels to the mat, release the head, inhale, exhale, come back to your crouch, inhale, exhale, core engages, hips lift, glutes engage, heels towards the mat. Release your head. Inhale. And then exhale, come back to your crouch. Twice more. You can miss one out if you need to. Inhale. Exhale, lifting the hips, drawing the heels to the mat, keeping a bend. And then from there, dropping the head, creating more space in the back, really straight arms. Inhale, exhale, come back down to your crouch. Last time, inhale, exhale. Then from here, if it feels comfortable and you might need to come up onto your fingertips, walk your hands out a little bit further. You're just going to gently straighten your legs. And that should actually feel really nice, hopefully. If it feels more comfortable, you can place the hands on the shins or just wrap them around the ankles or on the thighs. And just feeling that hamstring stretch. Inhale here, and then exhale lower. Nice, guys. From here, we'll walk the knees back. You're going to drop onto the right elbow, and then just keep on the left palm. And from here, we're going to lift the left leg up. Okay. So really support yourself with your right forearm, with both of your hands, and with the lower part of your right leg. And we're just going to open up in the hip. Okay. Really feeling a nice stretch here. I also like to point my toe and squeeze my glute as I do this. And then exhale, draw the leg back in. Just to a hover, almost like we're going to draw it up in towards the chest. And then exhale, kick it back, open the hip up. Squeeze in your glute, point in the left toes. And then exhale, draw it in. Do that 3 more times. Inhale, open up. Exhale, draw the knee in. Inhale, open up. Exhale, draw it in. 1 more time. Inhale, open up. And exhale, draw it in. We'll move to the other side. I'm just going to turn on my mat so you can see me. Oh, this time, where were we on this side? Yeah, so dropping the left onto the left forearm now. Whew, and then up on the right hand. Just finding your ground in here. And then we'll lift the right leg up. Just start to open up. Open out the right hip, squeeze in the glute, point in the right toes, just opening up in the hip. And then on your next inhale, draw it in, draw the knee in. Inhale, open up. Squeeze your glute, point your toe. Exhale. Inhale, open up. Engaging your core and your glute. And also the muscles of your arms and your upper body. Exhale. Twice more. Inhale, open up. And exhale, draw the knee in. Last time, inhale. And exhale, release. Well done, guys. From here, just breathe for a moment. Then we're going to drop down onto our forearms. And then just come forward, walk the knees back. Keep walking them back until we've got enough room to come onto our bellies. We want the elbows stacked underneath our shoulders. And from here you can already start to feel this stretch. Well, you definitely should feel this stretch in the lower back. I can definitely feel it. Just taking a few breaths here to adjust to this movement. To this stretch, I should say. And then from here, we'll bend the right leg. Point in the toe again. And we'll just start to shift the gaze, so turning the head towards the right so we can see the right foot. And then exhale, turn it towards the left. Just so you can see in the corner of your vision your foot. And then back towards the right again. And then exhale to the left. One more time. Over towards the right. And then over towards the left. Bring the gaze back to the centre. Inhale here, one last little squeeze. And then exhale, release that leg. Bend the left leg. Inhale here. Point the left toe, squeeze the glute if that feels good. Feel into it here for a moment. And then we'll inhale, take the gaze towards the left. Turning the head and the neck. And then exhale. Really isolating, so you're just turning your neck really slowly over to the right. Inhale, over to the left. Exhale to the right. Inhale to the left, last time. Exhale to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, release that foot down. And then just allow the elbows to come wide. Release down to the mat for a moment. And then place your hands either side of your rib cage. And just push yourself back up. And then we'll come through into a child's pose. Just to counter that back stretch. So knees can be together now, reaching forward again with the fingertips. And then curving. Releasing over, forehead to the mat. Just enjoying that counter stretch. And then we'll walk the hands back up to the knees. And we'll just come into a seated position. I'll turn to face you. So just coming into a cross-legged seat to end. And we're just going to take some neck circles. So inhaling, exhaling, just relax your shoulders. Make sure they're not squeezed up high. Try and really release them down into a more natural, comfortable position. And then inhale again. Feel free to just close your eyes on this last stretch if you want to. And as you exhale, just tilt the head towards the right. And then drop it forward all the way around. Over to the left. And then back over to the right. And then over to the left, really slow, don't rush it. Oh, thinking about mobility, and mobility requires mindfulness and awareness of how each movement we do, each physical thing we do affects every single part of our body. All the subtle aspects of our physiology. And that's why it's so important to just take time to move slow and care for our bodies. One more time, over towards the left. And then back over towards the right. And then head back to centre and drawing our hands in towards the heart centre. And exhale, bowing our forehead to our fingertips. And blessing each other with the words Namaste.